Hey guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel Pretty in Paper by B, where we are all about sharing the joy of pretty papers. Now this is my very first YouTube video, so I'm really excited to share with you what I've got in store for you today. So what I've chosen to start my YouTube channel off with is a tutorial to make your very own iris folding star greetings card, just like this one I made earlier to show you all. So this is a basic beginner star iris folding pattern, and today I'll be walking you through how to make your own. There is a list of everything you need in the box below, including a link to a free download which gives you your pattern and your template, what you'll need to make the card today. And after that, all you need to do is gather your supplies, get comfy, and let's get crafting. So here we are guys, with everything out ready to make our first iris folding greetings card. And remember that everything you need is in the description box down below, so make sure you've got it all out ready. Perfect. So as you can see, I have chosen a piece of white plain A5 card for my base, and then I've chosen some nice pretty gold papers to use in the star. However, the colours are completely up to you, so feel free to choose your own. The first thing that you'll need to do is to cut up the PDF that I have attached in a link also down below. So as you can see, I've cut this up into 4 pieces. Now the first piece you'll need is this, and this is a star template, just to give you a bit of an idea of the centre of the card, to make sure that when you're finished, your star design is centralised. So the first thing you need to do is to position it over the left side of your piece of card and line the edges up along the card. After that, grab your pencil and push down the star edges and indent them into your card. This will give you a guide to follow when you are cutting out your star later on. So now we have traced the star. When you lift up the piece of paper, you will have a very faint outline that will give you a bit of a guide when you're cutting out your star shape. So you can put your template to one side and your pencil down and grab your cutting mat. Now you will need to use your craft knife to cut out the star. Please always make sure you are very careful. The sharper the blade, the cleaner the cuts you will have on your star. So make sure you've got a freshly changed blade and you're keeping your hand behind the cut. Now it's a good habit, once you have done your cutting lines, to turn your card over and check that where you have cut has gone all the way through the material. So it looks like most of mine has gone through okay. Usually you might need to put a little bit more pressure in the corners and make sure your lines have joined up, like I have to here. There we go. So you can lift your star out and you have your silhouette ready to use. So you can move your cutting mat and your craft knife to the side, as you won't need them anymore. The next thing you need to do is grab your little bit of blue tack, and the first thing you'll need to stick down is your star pattern. Here you go. Then use a little bit more blue tack to glue your piece of card over your star pattern, and this will be your guide for where you place your paper strip. tabs. There we go. So now you have your card set up, ready to do your iris folding. Now before you can begin placing your strips, you need to cut some strips of paper. So grab your pretty papers and cut them into strips about 2 centimeters wide. For this design, you only need about 1 strip per paper. Now you can do this with a pair of scissors, or if you have one handy, you can use a small guillotine. I quite like using these just because it makes it a little bit easier and you get a nice straight cut. But scissors can also work fine. So once you've got your 5 strips ready, you can now decide what order they're going to be in and decide using your pattern guide which paper is going to be paper A, B, C, D and E. So I've chosen a mix of plain and patterned papers here, and I usually find that separating the patterned papers creates a much nicer balance in the design. So I'm going to separate them. I think do something a bit like this. So as you can see, I've positioned them around the star to approximately where the pattern, that colour, is going to go. Now, as I've chosen my papers, the star paper here is colour paper A. So that's my number 1. So to begin, I have to take my first strip, and you guys take yours too. And I want you to fold your strip over by about 0.7 centimetres is fine. It's just enough so that you have a nice crisp fold along the edge. Now if you want, you can do this with all your strips before you begin. So let's do that now. So there we go, all the strips have been folded nicely and we can start placing them. So to begin, take your paper A and you will need to cut off a strip big enough to cover fold 1. To get an idea of this, it's good practice to hold your strip over the number 1 and cut, and make sure that way you can double check that your strip is big enough. After that, you want to put your strip in place and grab your sticky tape and place over the strip like this. Now your strip is nice and secure in place. You can continue to move anti-clockwise around your design, placing your strips and following your pattern guide. So for me, my paper B is this bronzy gold metallic paper. So I've cut a strip and I'm sticking it, covering fold number 2, and I'm putting a little bit of tape over each end. Also a little bit of a tip, guys, having your sticky tape in a holder makes it a lot easier as you're going along, but this isn't essential. The next strip, my paper C, is this nice pearlized gold foil paper. So again, covering fold 3, and I'm going to stick each end down. Now the other thing to be mindful of when you're sticking your strips down, guys, is to make sure that your sellotape does not cover any of the pattern, because any sellotape that comes over the card into the pattern, you'll be able to see on the other side. So make sure when you're placing your sellotape, it is on the card and not over the hole. Paper D will be strip number 4. So again, cut a piece large enough to cover the fold. Place following the line with the fold on the edge and stick the end down with the sellotape. And again, repeat for paper E. Cut a strip large enough. Cover number 5 with the fold facing the line and stick either end down. Now after this, you will continue moving anti-clockwise, following your pattern guide and alternating between your 5 papers until you get to the middle of the iris. So let's do that now. So, once you have stuck all of your strips down, you are left with a little pentagon in the middle. You can move your leftover strip scraps to the side. Now my advice, don't throw them away because you can use them in future designs. Once you've done that, you can grab your piece of shiny card that you have chosen for your centre, like I've chosen this glitter card, and you want to cut a piece bigger than the pentagon in the middle to make sure that it is large enough to cover the hole. Once you've done that, you can place it over the hole with the shiny side down and stick down with some sticky tape. So now you've done that, you can reveal your card. And there you go, you have your nice iris folding star in the centre. So move your pattern and your blue tack out of the way as you won't need that anymore. After that, you might want to fold your card in half. So line the edges up with each other and push down on the crease to get a nice fold. There you go. Now the final step is you have to cover the messy back of the card. To do this, you'll need your piece of plain A5 paper. Today I have chosen some white linen paper as I thought this would look nice with the card. However, you can use any colour. White for me I think works best as it's easy to write on. So when you are sticking your insert down, what I usually do is I trim it down slightly so you end up with a little border around the inside of your card. Now to do this you can use scissors or again you can use a mini guillotine if you have one. Now you have cut your piece of paper down, fold it in half. Once you've folded your piece of paper in half, make sure that it is large enough to cover the back of your design, as follows. Now you will need your double-sided tape. So to do this, grab your tape and you want to create a border around 1/2 of your piece of paper. Now you can put your sticky tape to the side as you won't need it anymore. Now all you need to do is peel off the backs of the double-sided tape. I'd start by peeling off the strip that's down your folded side first. Now a little tip to help you line up your insert correctly. If you peel the short edges halfway and fold outwards, then you can position your insert before you completely stick it down, and it makes sure that you can get it straight. Now with this other long edge, I tend to peel it off. Now to line up your insert, if you turn your card 90 degrees, you want to line your folded edge up with the crease in the middle of the card. And if you open up your insert, you can make sure that the tops and the bottoms have lined up correctly. Now holding it down, you can peel the rest of the double-sided tape off at both sides. And there you go. You have an insert to hide the messy back of your card. And now you can be finished, or you may choose to add further embellishments to the front. Sometimes I like to use star punches and punch things out of the corner, particularly with this star paper or just a gold that I've used within the card. So let's use this one. So to decorate the front of the card, I'm just going to add these onto the corners. But again, this is optional. The card itself, with the iris folding being the main decoration, doesn't often need embellishments to add to the design. So grab your glue stick. Now I like to use a pair of tweezers for small embellishments, as I sometimes think this is easier to position them. And there you have it, your first iris folding star greetings card. Thank you for watching my very first YouTube video. I've really enjoyed sharing my love of pretty papers with you all through the beautiful art of iris folding. I hope you've enjoyed making your own star iris folding greetings card, because I've definitely enjoyed going along with you. So let me know what you think of this video in the comments below and give me a big thumbs up if you've liked it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more pretty paper videos with crafting tips, pretty papers, and of course card making tutorials. I look forward to seeing you again next time. Crafting love, B.